It is now.
Okay, so the first two passages listed on your handout, the first one reads like this: Woe to the world for temptations to sin, for it is necessary that temptations come, but woe to the one by whom the temptation comes. John 16:33, the second half of that verse, Jesus is talking to the disciples and he says, in the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. All right? So we see in these two passages, in the world we live in, we have temptation, tribulation, all the type of things that occur. And there's nothing we can do to sidestep it, nothing we can do to avoid it. I mean, the world is fallen, it's broken, it's imperfect. That's just the world we live in because of the fall from the garden. Okay? So if you haven't already endured some type of tragedy or suffering, it will happen. It's guaranteed if you live long enough. And if you have gone through it, then brace yourself because more is on the way. So how do we prepare to endure such realities? How do we help others to prepare to endure such realities? To explain this, I'm going to try to illustrate 3 points, and then from those 3 points, draw some parallels between them. First point, so looking at the Navy, we have a lot of different vessels and platforms, whether it's carriers, whether it's cruisers, destroyers, submarines. They have all been built and are equipped with certain features and accessories that are designed to enhance their safety and security. One of the accessories that all vessels have in common is an anchor. And the word anchor is derived from the Latin word ancora, which means hope, refuge, and support. Now, everyone in the building, I'm pretty sure, knows what this multi-ton metal device is used for, so I don't need to explain its function. But when is it the most effective? When is it the most useful? When it's propelled down into the water in the event of robust winds, roll waves, powerful currents, and massive storms. I mean, can you imagine hopping on the ship and sailing through the Drake Passage or in the middle of the Indian Ocean without an anchor? I mean, that'd be kind of like a definition. You can set yourself up for failure. Right? So that doesn't make any sense. I want you to remember that as I move on to the next point. Shifting gears. Point 2. In the U.S. Navy, there are various categories of rank. You have apprenticeship, you have petty officers, you have warrant officers, junior officers. There's all different categories. All these ranks are important. They all serve a distinctive role in carrying out the mission, but there's nothing like the chiefs. Right? You got the chief petty officers. That title itself commands respect. Why? Well, the word itself means highest in rank or authority, most important, the head of a body of persons or an organization, leader. This rank carries big time weight and has big time responsibilities and privileges. I mean, I double dare anybody to go around the corner to that chief's mess and just walk in there. Just going in there, just uninvited. Just come on, let's go. Right? No one would do that. That's unthinkable, right? It's just of who they are. I mean, they ensure that traditions, standards, and core values are upheld and maintained. They lead, they manage, they mentor, they supervise, they encourage, among many other things. But also, what else do they have in common? They all wear what on their collars?
Anchors.
Right? That means that it symbolizes that they are the backbone of the Navy, and they hold it down. Whatever the task, whatever the problem, whatever the dilemma, whatever the challenge, a chief will ensure that it gets taken care of and it gets squared away. Can you imagine being part of a Navy that didn't have any chiefs, senior chiefs, or master chiefs? No way. That's amazing. So on a side note, I remember I got off of 8C back in February, and I was having some issues with my DTS, and because my orders were revised, I guess. So instead of going back to DTS and redoing the authorization, I just went straight for the voucher, but I didn't know I had to redo the authorization. And it was like this back and forth thing, and I kept trying to call the NAS, talking to Ad, oh, you need to call DTS, oh, you need to call this. So like for 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going back. So finally, I called the senior chief. I said, hey, senior, I'm having some problems. And he said, okay, what? Okay, hang on. He made some phone calls, some emails. The next day, problem was settled. My money was in my account. My credit card was paid off within a day. Just to show you.
That's awesome.
Got some power and authority, right? That's just what they represent, all right? So, moving on to point number 3. Though chiefs do their best to help out and ensure that things run smoothly, they are mere human beings, just like we are. Have many flaws, have many weaknesses, have many liabilities. And they need help and support, just like we do. In essence, we're all in the same boat. We're all imperfect, we're all feeble, error-prone, dependent, sinners, flawed, in need of constant round-the-clock support and help, and assured hope. So in a world full of tribulation, suffering, and uncertainty, where do we turn for help? Who do we trust? Who do we put our trust and hope in for safety and support? Well, to answer this question, I'm going to go to Scripture, to the book of Hebrews. And I've got that passage in your handout there. And I want to talk about the second half of chapter 6 here, because I think it really highlights what I'm trying to capture and what I'm trying to share with you in this message. So the passage reads like this. For when God made a promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no one greater, he swore by himself, saying, surely, blessing I will bless you, and multiplying I will multiply you. And so, after Abraham, had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. For men indeed swear by the greater, and an oath for confirmation is for them an end of all dispute. Thus God, determining to show more abundantly to the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath, that by 2 immutable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we might have strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold of the hope set before us. This hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which enters the presence behind the veil, where the forerunner has entered for us, even Jesus, having become high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. This passage is pretty loaded. To go into detail would take a long time. So I just want to kind of highlight some things here. So the first few verses is basically saying that the promises of God, blessings to all those who believe in him, are founded upon the counsels of God and confirmed by the oath of God. Now, the counsels of God and the oath of God are immutable and unchangeable. They don't shift, they don't move, they don't change with culture or time. It's set, all right? And because it is impossible for God to lie, and because he's faithful, we can take what he says at face value and cast our hope on him in that he will fulfill all that he has promised. Now, looking at the last 2 verses, 19 and 20 of this passage, I'm going to turn to some commentary provided by Matthew Henry. This is what Matthew Henry says in his commentary. We are in this world as a ship at sea, liable to be tossed up and down, and in danger of being cast away. Our souls are the vessels. The comforts, expectations, graces, and happiness of our souls are the precious cargo with which these vessels are loaded. Heaven is the harbor to which we sail. The temptations, persecutions, and afflictions that we encounter are the winds and waves that threaten our shipwreck. We have need of an anchor to keep us sure and steady, or we are in continual danger. Gospel hope is our anchor. In our stormy passage through this world, it is our anchor. It is sure and steadfast, or else it could not keep us. It is sure in its own nature, for it is the special work of God in the soul. It is a good hope through grace. It is steadfast as to its object. It is an anchor that has taken good hold. It enters that which is within the veil. It is an anchor that is cast upon the rock of ages. It doesn't seek to fasten in the sand, but it enters within the veil and fixes thereon upon Christ. He is the object. He is the anchor of the believer's hope. Jesus Christ is the object and ground of the believer's hope, and so it is a steadfast hope. Jesus Christ has entered within the veil to intercede with God in virtue of that sacrifice which he offered up without the veil. Hope fastens upon his sacrifice in intercession. May we fix our hopes in him as our forerunner that has entered there for us, for our sakes, for our safety, to watch over our highest interests and concerns. So I thought that was a real good breakdown of those last two verses there. And so I just hope you got kind of the illustration of what the author of Hebrews is trying to paint here, the picture he's trying to paint. So just as we can see how inconceivable it is to board a ship that is not equipped with an anchor, just as we can see that it is inconceivable to be part of a navy without chiefs, can you see how it is inconceivable to live a life without Christ? Can you see how it is inconceivable to live a life without steadfast and assured hope? Can you see how it is inconceivable to live a life without an anchor for your soul? That's 100% unthinkable and unimaginable, wouldn't it be? So I just encourage you, if you don't truly know the Lord, if you don't have a relationship with him, cry out to him while there's time. Seek him while he may be found. Don't wait. Now, I just want to leave you with this song. I don't sing, by the way. I'm going to read the lyrics. I grew up in a Baptist church, and we used to sing a song periodically from time to time called "My Hope is Built on Nothing Less." So the lyrics go like this: My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust his sweetest frame, but wholly lean on Jesus' name. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. When darkness veils his lovely face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. His oath, his covenant, his blood supports me in the whelming flood. When every earthly prop gives way, he then is all my hope and stay. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. Yeah. Last verse. When he shall come with trumpet sound, oh, may I then in him be found, clothed in his righteousness alone, faultless to stand before the throne. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. So that's just my encouragement to you. Have an anchor for yourself. It's not a chief. It's not that multi-ton metal device. It's not, trusting and believing in yourself. It's not any of that. It's Christ. Christ alone. And I encourage you to look to him. So let's pray. Father, I just thank you that you have left us with a support, left us with an anchor, left us with help. You haven't left us strandless or alone. You've given us your Son. For you loved us so much that you gave your only begotten Son, and whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So I pray for those who don't know him, they don't know Jesus, that by your grace you open their hearts to see their needs, to turn to him, turn from their own efforts, turn from their own ways, and turn to Christ Jesus. For those that do know him, I pray you continue to strengthen that relationship, continue to fortify that bond, continue to grow and mature them in the ways of Christ, so that we are light and salt in the earth and growing in Christ likeness, so that the world can see the change that you're doing in your people, and that can be evident in the way we speak and the way we live and the way we respond to things. And I lift up the families who are going through bereavement and grief from the loss of their family members who were shot and killed. Just pray for all who are involved, Lord. And I know that times are rough now. Race relations, injustices, police brutality, so many different things going on. We know it's a result from the fall in the garden, and it's continuing to get worse. But we know, Father, if we put our hope and trust in Christ Jesus, that we will be okay, and we will be preserved until the end. We will be in good standings with you. We'll be right. I just pray, Father, for this group here. Thank you for bringing them here. I pray that something was spoken today that they can take with them, that if they're driving home or thinking about things next week, that Holy Spirit